Look what we've got, the all-new Land Rover Range Rover.
Big, powerful, and expensive. Ooh, this thing's big.
Dynamic mode. Woo!
Holy smokes.
Good old V8.
It's amazing how big this is and how fast it is. We're in the first edition. What's under the hood of this thing?
A twin-turbo 4.4-liter V8 with an 8-speed automatic transmission. 523 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. This new V8 produces 37 pound-feet more torque than the previous 5-liter supercharged V8 standard all-wheel drive.
If you get the base engine, it's a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder with a mild hybrid system, 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. There's also the plug-in hybrid with 434 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. It has an estimated 77 kilometers or 48 miles of EV range. So the 5-liter supercharged was such a cornerstone of Land Rover's brand.
Yeah.
They've outsourced the engine to
BMW.
It's a BMW under the hood. So is it going to be more reliable?
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know. This is designed and built by BMW to Land Rover specifications. It's been slightly modified to handle some of the utility a Range Rover requires.
Brand new Range Rover, what are the key standard features?
The first edition model comes with a 13.1-inch touchscreen with Amazon Alexa, a 13.7-inch digital driver display, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, an 11.4-inch rear seat entertainment system, Meridian signature sound system, a wireless charger, 20-way heated and cooled hot stone massage electric front seats, a center console refrigerator compartment, a panoramic sunroof, and a power tailgate.
Well, if you want modes, you don't get any more modes than a Range Rover. What are we going to put it in?
You got to put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you like and subscribe. The most important thing, honestly, is to hit the notification bell, but also follow on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to get a sneak peek behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.
One of the things that I absolutely love about Range Rover is the commanding seating position. You just sit up and over the dash. It's got a nice long hood, but it just doesn't affect your visibility. It's just so open.
You know what it is, Andrea? You're looking down at your people.
I think so.
Over your kingdom.
Maybe that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, but it is. The seating position is one of the biggest draws. And once you've owned one of these vehicles, you're like, I would miss that in any other vehicle. So the best way for me to describe driving this vehicle is it defies the laws of physics. It is so big, but that 4.4-liter twin-turbo engine has 0 to 60 times of, what, 4 seconds or something?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, that's 911 turbo power from 20 years ago.
And the 8-speed automatic transmission is wonderful. This has got a really comfortable drive. It handles incredibly well. You pop it in dynamic mode and everything firms up, but you know, it doesn't matter what mode you're in, this is tuned for comfort.
The other way to describe it is like being on a magic carpet ride. So we're going over a bumpy part of the pavement right now, and this thing just floats right over it. So it's got this defying factor, like it's just defying the laws of physics. I don't know how they do it, but it's magical.
Yeah, and I see why it's so popular because of it. This gets 8.6 inches of ground clearance. You put it into off-road mode and you're going to get 11.6. This is a wading depth of 35.4 inches or 900 millimeters. And also the 3D surround camera now has wade sensing. And on the door mirrors, there are little sensors there that will let you know when you've reached that water depth so that you don't go any further.
Interesting. So Land Rover talks about the breadth of capability. I joked, I went on a program one time in Arizona for the Range Rover Sport, and I said, where's the mall mode, right?
Yes.
Because that's really who's driving these vehicles. They're being used in urban settings. And they said that's not what it's about. It's about what it can do. And the heritage of this brand is British, of course, and you always have this sort of nostalgic view of the farmer out on the pasture putting a sheep in the back,
Sure.
and, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and you know what? This has electronic air suspension. So like we said, it's very comfortable. And new to this Range Rover model is all-wheel steering. And that's a question coming up in Questions, Coffee and Cars. So we'll answer what we think about it then.
So it's like they took a Range Rover and just polished all of the bits off of it. It's so clean looking now.
Oh, I love it. It has the flush door handles, but the great thing about them is that they pop out, so it becomes a regular door handle. It just keeps it really clean and modern. Quite an elegant looking exterior now. It comes standard with LED pixel headlights on our first edition model and signature daytime running lights. I really like the unique front bumper and the 5-bar grille design as well. I think it looks cool.
It's the back for me. They just cleaned it all up. It just looks fantastic. You've got this little airfoil out the bottom of the diffuser at the back. There's no windshield wiper. It's hidden under the spoiler. It's super clean. It's just absolutely like a polished Range Rover.
Our test model has got black exterior accents. We've got the black roof, and we're riding on gloss black 23-inch wheels. You can really configure this any way you like. There are a ton of different options for this Range Rover.
Just think about that for a second. 23-inch wheels,
I know.
but you have absolute pillow-like experience when you're driving down the road.
Yeah.
So the way they're able to take what is a massive wheel and make it comfortable is unbelievable.
And then what a quiet cabin. You're listening to the Meridian sound system, which is standard in this model that we're driving. And it just sounds so clear and crisp. I just think this is just a wonderful product. Expensive, but wonderful.
All right, so let's get into the interior. So just like the outside, they cleaned it all up. This is an absolute study in minimalist approach, but it still has all the things that we like. There's still controls to use the vehicle. However, everything is integrated now into just one screen.
And I love that Land Rover brought back the traditional shifter in this Range Rover instead of the dial that's in the previous model. Comes with a standard 13.1-inch touchscreen, a 13.7-inch digital driver display, and in the back we've got rear seat entertainment, which I don't know how many people really need anymore when kids have iPads and teenagers have phones now.
And then the quality of the materials that are in here. The camera doesn't pick it up, to be honest with you. Everything, every surface on this first edition is leather. Leather on the dash, leather everywhere, on the side consoles, the armrest, the lower parts of the doors, and then the materials, the wood and the brushed aluminum. It's just, you know what, everybody jokes around Land Rover and Range Rover and how they're not reliable, but when they're working, they are spectacular.
I agree with you. I think that's it. When they're working, that's one of the biggest problems with Land Rover. Now, when it comes to space in the front row, this is really spacious and open, but believe it or not, it's not best in class. The BMW X5, the Mercedes-Benz GLE, and the Bentley Bentayga all offer more front row legroom.
Well, here I am getting into the back seat. It's surprising because the screens really do steal quite a bit of space. The back seat has a lot of tricks. The seat bottom can slide fore and aft. The seat back also reclines, but it has one more trick. The center armrest is fully electronic. With the push of a button, it goes all the way down and also retracts just with a push of a button.
It gets more second row legroom than something like the X5, but the GLE and the Bentayga, once again, more space in that second row.
And then you get into the cargo area, and it's a clamshell design, upper liftgate, tailgate. You like this, right?
I like it a lot. I wish more vehicles had the split tailgate myself. Zach made a good point this morning because he did a Costco run yesterday and he had everything pushed to the back.
It was filled to the top.
And he just said for someone who is petite, they would have a hard time reaching to the back because once the tailgate is out, it's quite long.
Yeah, the neat thing is it has some tricks. You can lower the vehicle remotely from the back. So if you have something heavy that you're lifting in, you can lower the air suspension to load that in.
Yeah.
And then you also have an electronic caddy for the tonneau cover or the parcel cover. It's fancy, man. This thing is fancy.
They've thought of everything. Cargo space behind the second row is spacious at 40.7 cubic feet, but the GLE has a little bit more. Overall, cargo space at 83.5 cubic feet is really tough to beat. It has more than the X5, the GLE, the Cayenne, and the Bentayga.
Well, you had some good questions on this. Let's get into it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
The pinnacle in SUVs, in my opinion, as Land Rover is a luxury, rugged brand. Do you feel like the styling has turned more feminine with its softer styling?
It could be argued, I think, that they've taken away some of the chunkiness.
Yeah.
But I think this is an absolute masterclass. Here's my prediction, Andrea.
Yeah.
This will be the most copied SUV, period.
Yeah, I believe that. I love the modern and clean lines. Like, this is just so clean looking. And in a world of EVs, this really fits in nicely. I like the direction Land Rover has taken with the Range Rover. It's definitely not as rugged, but super clean. Any improvement in the IT systems? I own a 2021 Range Rover Sport and the touch is super laggy. Takes a good 3 to 4 seconds to switch the color scheme from day to night. Same story for voice commands, just poor quality recognition. I would say that the touchscreen is very good. It's quicker than I thought it would be actually, because other Range Rovers, they were a little bit slower. So I think that this is very good. As for voice recognition,
voice recognition is always, actually, it's the number one complaint of people who have voice recognition, that it doesn't recognize what they're trying to say. But this is their new back end, right? We saw it first in Defender. It is an improvement, and it takes a little while to learn it, but I will take this over the old system they used to have.
Yeah. We did try the voice commands, and things like turning up the heat and turning down was pretty fast, but navigation and getting us to like the nearest Starbucks, not so much.
Well, that's our go-to test. Where's the closest Starbucks? Because, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
It couldn't figure it out.
No. We put out a lot of content each week on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's super easy to find.
All you do is go to the YouTube search bar and type in Motormouth, the name of the channel, then the brand you're looking for. In this case, it would be Land Rover or Range Rover, and all of our videos pop up. It's that easy.
How's the handling around corners at high speeds now that it has four-wheel steering? Does it help, or is it just more for turning radius?
Well, I said at the beginning, this vehicle defies the laws of physics. I don't know how they do it, but you just have no idea you're driving something so big.
No, and we usually do mostly city driving. I did a lot of parallel parking yesterday. It was a breeze for such a large vehicle, but I also pulled into a tight parking lot, and when I pulled into the parking spot, I felt like I was in a large sedan, not in an SUV, so it's really impressive.
So the way it works with all brands is the four-wheel steering, the wheels, when you're at slow speeds, like Andrew's going in a parking lot, will turn opposite to each other, so you can really pivot into that parking spot. Once you get over a certain speed, I'm not sure what it is with this product, but it's usually around 30 or 40 kilometers an hour, and you change lanes, for example, then the wheels actually turn in the same direction, which gives you more precise lane changes. As I said, it's like a magic carpet ride with this thing. It's amazing.
Yeah, incredible job from Land Rover.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
What is it about Range Rover, Land Rover with this cult following? They're overpriced with very low reliability ratings, but they always sell.
Well, the reason this is a cult following is because there is nothing else on the road like it. So many other brands try to emulate what Land Rover does with the Range Rover. You can see that over and over, but nothing else is like it. And once you drive one of these, I totally get it, having had a chance to drive them, and this new one this one especially, once you drive it, I can totally understand why you'd want one.
Yeah, it is special. It makes you feel special when you're inside. These are very expensive vehicles. So when people see you on the road, you know, they know you got a few bucks to your name.
Yeah.
When it comes
and by the way, and it's not that cheap Range Rover Sport. It's the full-size Range Rover.
For sure. When it comes to reliability, yeah, you're right. It's not great reliability. J.D. Power for 2 years in a row in their dependability study has Land Rover at the bottom of the list, unfortunately. It was in good company in 2021 with Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo made a jump, one spot for 2022, and Volvo filled the spot just above Land Rover.
Yeah,
so,
there you go. It's one of those things, but you got to remember, somebody that owns this, Andrea, this isn't their only car.
No.
Right? And they maybe have their service advisor on speed dial, and they say, oh, I'm going to drop over the Rover. It needs some service, needs something done to it, and I'll just take my Mercedes that day or something like that. So, you know, people that are buying in this snack bracket, they got options.
They do. And we always talk about the pain versus pleasure scenario. How much pleasure does the Range Rover give you compared to the pain that it produces and stops at the dealership? So if you're enjoying more positives than negatives and you can afford this vehicle, then this is an excellent ride.
Quick story, we have some close friends that have had, they had one Range Rover, they had no problem with it.
Yeah.
The Range Rover Sport.
Diesel.
A diesel. They got another one. It was nothing but a gong show from the beginning to end. They took it back and put them in the full size, the previous version of this. And they have had the pain pleasure thing going on, but they love these things.
Love it.
They will go and get another one because they love all of this. So, can this thing tow? Oh yeah, it can tow. What's the fuel economy? Don't even look. And more in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. The first edition model is $188,450 Canadian and $164,000 in the US. Prices tested with a few extra features, just over $189,500 Canadian.
Here's the fuel economy: 15.1 liters per 100 kilometers city, 11.1 on the highway. That's 16 miles per gallon city, 21 miles per gallon highway. This thing can tow 7,700 pounds, and it comes with a 4-year, 80,000 kilometer, 50,000 mile warranty. So you have a lot of money, like you got a lot of money, and you like power, and you want a 5-passenger SUV. What else can you buy?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the BMW X5M with a 4.4-liter twin-power turbo V8, 617 horsepower, and a starting price just over $136,500.
The Porsche Cayenne Turbo with a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 as well, 541 horsepower, and a starting price of $160,500.
The Mercedes-Benz AMG GLE 63 with a 4-liter V8 bi-turbo and a mild hybrid system, 603 horsepower, and a starting price of just over $116,500 US. The AMG GLE 63 is no longer listed on the Mercedes-Benz Canadian website.
The Bentley Bentayga with a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, 542 horsepower, and a starting price of over $238,000.
So there are 4 luxury SUVs for you to consider.
Lightning round: 2 things we like, 2 things we like to see improved.
I love the comfort and how easy this is to maneuver.
It just defies the laws of physics.
I would love better reliability so that people would feel a little bit more comfortable buying a Land Rover, Range Rover.
I'll do this one for Andrea because she forgot to mention it in the video. She doesn't like the huge steering wheel.
I don't. It's a biggie.
It's like you're captain of a ship.
I need something a little bit smaller and sportier.
I'll sell you a Range Rover Sport.
Boy, if this is in your budget, you've got one sweet ride.
Ditto. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.